our group's topics, which is do men and women have different personality? Men and women do have different personalities. First, let's see what's meant by personality. Personality is the set of psychological traits and mechanisms within the individual that are organized and relatively enduring. Personality can influence one's interactions with and adaptations to the intrapsychic, physical, and social environments. There are three levels of personality analysis. Gender difference is grouped in the second level because it's an example of group difference, which shows how people of one group differ from the another group. Most of the time, the gender difference in personality were examined in terms of big five traits, which make up of openness, conscientiousness, extraversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism traits.
Greetings and hello everybody, my name is Fitran Rahmi and I'm going to explain to you about the differences between men's personality and women's personality in openness and extraversion traits. First, we are going to talk about men's and women's openness traits. As stated in the slide, let's discuss about what can be defined as openness. Openness, or known as intellectual, or maybe known as openness to experience, it represents a person's intellectual curiosity and creativity. So, are there any differences in these traits to differentiate women's and men's openness? How each gender act to show up their openness? Actually, the openness traits between men and women doesn't have any specific or significant difference. But to differentiate it, we can elaborate how men and women act to show up their openness. Men have high scores on aspect of openness to ideas. This might describe why our men tend to be a creative force in our daily life. As for how Evan and friends describe in their research article, men are still dominating in the role of director, writer, producer in the film industry, while a woman have a high scores on the aspect of openness to aesthetic and feelings. They may be more able to appreciate the art or aesthetic things than men, and often women are found not to judge some things rather than men do. Second, we are going to talk about men's and women's extraversion traits. So, extraversion is about how people receive their energy from the environment. Usually, people with high extraversion are having high social engagement. That's why an extrovert persons are likely to be in outdoor or gather with their friends because it is how they receive their energy. Then, the differences in degree of extraversions in women and men also did not have a significant difference, but women are usually more able to show their extrovert sides. It doesn't mean that men aren't able to show their extrovert side, but commonly women tend to be more expressive. So at first glance, women are more visible to show their extrovert sides, but not all aspects in extrovert are higher in women. Men in extraversions tend to score higher on assertiveness and sensation-seeking interest, while women in extraversions tend to score higher in enthusiasm, positive emotions, and togetherness. So, that's all that I can explain to you. The next topic will be explained by my group mate.
Hi everyone, I am Akila and I'm going to talk about the conscientiousness. As we all know, conscientiousness is one of the main personality trait in the Big Five personality test. So first thing first, what is really conscientiousness? Conscientiousness is the personality trait of being careful and diligent. It also applies to do the task well and take obligation to others. And these conscientious people are more responsible and more well organized compared to those who unconscientious people. As you can see, there's 4 subtraits in front of you. Okay, the first one is industriousness, dutifulness, self-efficacy, and the last one is orderliness. So for industriousness is men are scores higher than women because they are more hardworking and diligent. And the next one is dutifulness. Dutifulness is dominated by women as they are more compared to men. They are more obedient, obey to orders. And the next one is self-efficacy. Self-efficacy also dominated by men, which is they can handle any situation they are in, like the abilities to handle consequences they are facing. And the last one is orderliness. Women scores higher than men in this aspect because orderliness is about the management. It's about well arranged how people getting orderly manner, like um well manageable. So this is why the result of the research and studies are different and inconsistent because uh, people are not same. Like our personality is unique, and not all women, not all men are conscientious. So I think that's all for me.
Hello there everyone, my name is Mahesh Naidu and for today I will be presenting to you about the differences in neuroticism among males and females. Now first and foremost, let me explain to you what neuroticism actually is. Neuroticism is regarded as a personality that has the tendency towards stress, depression, anxiety, anger, and as well as other negative feelings and emotions. Individuals with higher neuroticism are more prone towards lower emotional stability and generally have negative thoughts more than the typical person. According to various studies done by psychologists all around the world, it can be concluded that women have been consistently scoring higher than men in neuroticism when taking the Big 5 personality test and also the NEOPIR personality inventory. Studies have shown that one of the most prominent reasons in the difference in neuroticism between males and females are due to the difference in the levels of hormones in males and females, namely estrogen, progesterone, and also testosterone. Estrogen is often linked to women's emotions and their emotional well-being. Estrogen plays a major role in women, such as involvements in premenstrual syndrome, postpartum depression, as well as menstrual cycle. During all these phases that a woman goes through, they often face mood swings due to hormonal imbalance within them, which in turn increases negative thoughts such as anxiety, depression, and also sadness. But on the other hand, this has caused women to have higher scores on emotional intelligence tests compared to men, which shows that women are keener in acknowledging emotions in everyday situations compared to men. Even though in general women score more than men in the neuroticism personality, men have been also found to score higher in women in specific traits under neuroticism, namely anger and hostility. This shows why the number of male murder offenders are relatively higher in most regions around the world compared to women. That is all from me. Thank you very much.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Nur Amalia and I will be discussing about gender differences in agreeableness. Some of the common indicators of the characteristics of agreeableness traits are compliance, empathy, compassion, modesty, and politeness. Agreeableness is a bipolar trait, like the other traits in the Big 5 personality. This is because people who have low level of agreeableness have high tendencies of aggressiveness, hostility, callosity, strong will, and manipulation. Besides that, agreeable people are more positive and cooperative. They are absolutely more empathetic and pro-social than the other 4 traits. There are many studies which concluded that women have high tendencies to have high mean levels of agreeableness than men. Furthermore, there were also studies on twins, which indicates that female twins have a significant higher percentage of agreeableness than male twins. The question is, do agreeable male and females have different personality characteristics? There are a lot of research suggests that genetic and environmental sex differences were absent for this trait. There was also research indicating that agreeableness does indeed have the tendencies to exhibit gender differences favoring girls. However, those differences are prone to be quite small. Moreover, the study also concluded that the variance of genetic and environmental magnitude was the same across sex. Thus, it can be concluded that there is no sex difference in agreeableness trait. Thank you.
Conscientious and extroversion traits between men and women does not differ much. For openness traits, men tend to score higher in openness to intellectuals, while women tend to score higher in openness to aesthetics. For conscientious traits, men score higher in self-efficacy and industriousness phases, while women score higher in orderliness, dutifulness, and self-discipline phases. For extroversion traits, men score higher in excitement or sensation seeking, while women score higher in enthusiasm phases. For agreeableness and neuroticism traits, women tend to get higher score than men in overall, except for the one phases of neuroticism traits, which is the anger and hostility traits. However, the results just show that men and women have high possibility to possess these traits. Doesn't mean that every man or woman shows traits based on this result. That's why everyone have unique personality. That's all from me. Thank you.